Hey there, welcome to Bandit's Keep. I think I might have yelled there. I'm Daniel, and we are continuing our build of a mega dungeon. So I thought I'd take a bit of a side quest here, if you will. I just finished the other video and I have to go look at it and edit it, but I also want to see the reaction of how I'm doing the iPad and stuff before I draw on the screen more, just in case that's kind of aggravating. But I was on a roll, so I thought I would record another video now. This will give us a little break in between. And also I'm reaching that point where I want to figure out how I'm going to stock this place. Because remember, we are building a mega dungeon level that has very little monsters, right? We're basically building it off of just traps, which means that having treasure, which is how you get experience points in most OSR type games, is going to be trickier. Obviously, if you're playing something like Dungeon Crawl Classics, it's not a problem at all because each encounter gives you experience points, or if you're doing milestones or something like that. But if you're doing a more of a classic, which is what we're basing this on, you need to have some treasure for the players. So what I did was I jumped over here to, this is the B book in the BX. This is my notebook over here. And I was looking at stocking the dungeon. And this is not, I'm sure, mathematically correct, but I figured it would just work out easy this way. You roll 6-sided die, then you roll a second 6-sided die. The first one tells you kind of what's in the room, monster, special, trap, or empty, and then the other one tells you if there's treasure. And that gives you basically 36 combinations, if I'm not mistaken. So I made a list of 1 to 36. Now you might be like, well, Daniel, I don't have a 36-sided die. Exactly. And what we're going to do here is I believe this is going to be a roll on a d20, and we're going to add to that roll a number based on how long they've been exploring. So theoretically, how deep they've gone to the dungeon. It might be how long they've been exploring since the last random encounter, or it might be how long they've been exploring, period. I think maybe period. And of course, this resets every time they leave the dungeon and come back. So I'm kind of doing it in reverse, because if we look at the I don't know if you guys can see if I make it bigger. Make that bigger. I can make it bigger for you. There we go. If we look at this, right, and I look at my D6, 1 to 2 is a monster, then 3 is a trap, 4 is special, 5, 6 is empty. I want the empty stuff to be the other way, so I'm flipping this over and doing it the other way. So essentially, and same thing with the treasure. I'm having the less treasure be lower, so I'm going to reverse all these numbers. So what I'm basically doing is I have 36, I already started doing it here. I've got these 36, and I did the empty rooms first. So the first 12 are empty, with treasure on 6 and 12. I mean, I could have put them on 11 and 12, which might have been the right way mathematically, but 6 and 12 works for me. And then the next thing up will be special. And there'll be 6 rooms with the possibility of specials. And now this is where we're going to have to start figuring things out, right? Because these special things are special, right? We got to figure out what they are. I'm going to say that generally speaking, once we've used something, it will. This is what I did in my hex crawl. If you saw the hex crawl video I did, I had a whole bunch of random stuff. I removed it, and then I added something new the next time they were in the dungeon. Or if I re-rolled it again, I would just go to the next number above or below, however you want to do it. And you can just keep rotating this through and changing it. And of course, this is for the first level. Maybe might even be the first 2 levels. Who knows? All right, so there's my specials, and if I look at my chance of having treasure, see we'd have to have trap. I always treat it as trap. I don't know why. Maybe that's wrong. So there's going to be 3, 4, 5, and 6 are not going to have any treasure, and 1 and 2 are. And again, I want to put the treasure higher up, so I'm going to actually go with treasure. So basically, the longer they're in the dungeon exploring, the more chance they are that they're gonna hit an enemy or something random. But there's also more chance that there will be treasure. Okay. Okay, so that's specials, and then same thing with traps. Traps are there'll be 6 of those. Same thing. And actually, I'm gonna do it like this. Trap. So that'll be all the way to 24. Trap, same deal. The last 2 will be with treasure. And I'll fill this in a second. And then all the rest of them, so the last 12, will have monsters in them. And monsters have treasure all but the first two, right? Which again, doubling. So it'll be 3 with treasure and 3 without, so half and half. So we're going to go, and again, the higher up the chain, the more likely they'll have treasure. Although I think I'm going to reverse it with the monsters. I know that that's weird, but it's only because at some point they're not going to get to these high numbers. And I kind of want, like, if they're staying there too long, it just gets super. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I will not change that. I'm going to go monster. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go monster 3 without treasure, right? And then 3 with. So again, we got to figure out what we want to do here, because we've decided that this level anyways is going to be primarily not have monsters. And honestly, if you are exploring long enough that you start to encounter monsters, I mean, you would have to be, let's say if you're doing a normal wandering monster ratio, you're checking every 2, maybe 3 turns. So let's say that every time you do a check, every 2 turns. So let's say let's say the first monster comes up on 25. So they would have had to already been in there for 10 turns before there's even a chance that a monster would come up. And then even then they'd have to roll a 20. So, you know, the chance of hitting monsters until you're in there for a while is going to fade pretty rapidly. And again, on different levels, we can do this differently. This is just something I'm trying here. So this trap, let's fill these out now. So now let's figure out what these things are, right? Obviously, empty rooms are easy because they're empty. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean empty room. The way that I'm going to use this, if you remember how the map is, I don't have it up, there's going to be lots of empty spaces. This could be in hallways. It could be whenever you're going to roll. I'm going to use this more like a random event table. And what you're going to do, because I know sometimes people see that and they get a little confused. If, for instance, I get trap, right? So I roll it and I get trap. That might mean there's a trap in the space that just entered, or I might just put it in the next space. You're going to use it wherever it's logical. Now, if it's something that seems like it'd be there permanently, then we need to mark it on the map and leave it there. Maybe all these adventurers have come in and out of this place and nobody's ever set off this pit trap because it's been jammed shut, and then this happens to be the adventurer, set of adventurers that set it off, right? So let's start with simple. So empty with treasure. Now, if we look over again at BX, we have rules for this. Okay, unguarded treasure for the first level. You've got a D6 times 100 silver pieces, and then you've got a percentage for gold, gems, jewelry, magic items. So clearly, if the room is empty, meaning no monster, no trap, whatever, and there's treasure, then based on what we've talked about before, it's probably on the body of some adventurer, you know, or maybe we could put something in the space if we want. So let's first of all say it 1d6 times 100 silver pieces. Or roll a 6. Okay. 600 silver pieces. And then there's a 50-50 chance, so, of gold. 33, there's going to be gold. I'm just going to roll the all percentage now. There's 5% of gems. No gems. 2% of jewelry. Oh my god, I rolled a 1. So there is jewelry. And 2% of any one magic item. No. Okay. So I've got jewelry, and I've got gold. So D6 times 10 for gold, which I didn't roll a 2, so 20 gold pieces. The jewelry is the big deal. Because if you know BX, jewelry can be worth a lot. So there's D6 pieces of jewelry, 2 pieces, and each jewelry is worth 3d6. So 5, 6 is 11, and 4 is 15. 5, 6 is 11. Last twice I did that. And then 1 is 12. So 1,200. So jewelry. So we're going to create a little scene out of this, but right now I'm just putting in numbers, right? I think that's always I like to do things systematically whenever possible. So here, just me doing the numbers is good, and we can kind of flesh out what exactly it is, or the DM can do it. I mean, you can just be like, not empty, but I mean, that's a decent amount of treasure. So I'm going to say, let's say a D4 plus 1 adventurers. So 5. Corpses. Oh, this is good, actually. Hold on. Corpses of 5 adventurers. Now, Donjon, which I use a bunch, they actually have, under the AD&D, under random generator, I think it is. Yeah, they have TPKs. So let's roll a TPK. 4. Eaten alive when the thief unlocked a portal to the elementary plane of ghouls. Oh, aha! Okay. Okay. So now we have just added a portal into the elemental plane of ghouls. We've put some adventures here. We've put some treasure. That could be a whole other thing, and that could be anywhere in this dungeon, right? We're going to figure out, again, if we want to describe it, and we can think of some cool way to describe it, but for now, that's what it is. All right, now, next empty. 4 for my silver. And that's, so it's 400 silver. Uh, 50% for some gold. Yeah, I roll a 10. It says 1d6 times 10 gold. 4, so 40 gold pieces. And let's see, 5% for gems. Nope, roll a 19. 2% for jewelry. Let's see if we can nail that again. Nope, 88. And 2% for a magic item. Nope. All right, so they just have a little bit of treasure. Again, I'm going to say that's not that many treasure, so I'm going to roll a d3 adventurers that they'll find here. 3. All right, so 3 adventurers. And I'm going to do another TPK. That was kind of fun. Let's, I'll regenerate it, and I'll roll again. D10. 8. Drain life when wizard accidentally summons something vast, terrible from the negative material plane. All right, there we go. Three dead adventurers. Drain of life when wizard. Okay. And again, we can deal with that however we want to deal with it. All right. So now with specials, though, we can roll treasure, obviously, but we need to figure out what these specials are. And I think, again, because of the nature of our dungeon, I think it would be cool to have them be more like dungeon dressing. I think if we go, I'm in Donjon right now. I believe they have a Omens, Importance, Prophecies. Let's take a look at Omens and see if we can make a few of these. We'll roll a couple and see if they work, and if not, then we won't use them. 1. The night sky is filled with strange stars and constellations. Okay. You might be saying, huh? But you know what? The area suddenly goes dark and looks like the night sky filled with strange constellations. Okay. If the party makes note of them and researches, they will find it to be a treasure map of sorts. Right, there we go. Again, you always want to kind of reward the players for trying something. All right, let's roll another one. I rolled another 1. Okay, so let's roll again. 5. The night sky is filled with strange stars. Oh my god. All right, I guess that's a good one. Let me regenerate here. Okay. That's too funny. 5. Tree is split into 5 parts. Oh, you know what's interesting here? Like, I see this and, that sounds interesting, but I saw this. The flame of a candle turns green. I like that. Simple. All the flame flames in the party's light sources turn green and cast an eerie light until they burn out. There we go. All right, that's good. While we're here, I'm just going to also take a peek at the book here because there are some specials listed. So let's see some. Moaning room or corridor. Those are always nice, right? Oh, you know what? That reminds me of another thing. I know it's connected, but... So let's do a moaning room. That's always good. Moaning room or corridor. This special here, I'm going to actually do a strange, strong wind blows out torches on 3 through 6, comma, lanterns only on a roll of 6. Okay. And now we've got some specials with treasure. So let's see what the treasure is before we do this. Now I'm going to use the again, unguarded treasure because it's not guarded. So we're going to use the same thing. And depending on what it is, we can make our special about that. 28, so there is gold. We know that there's silver already. Actually, I probably should just do this while I keep trying to... Oh, 6. Okay. So this is 600 silver. I guess I might as well roll the other one too. The other one's only 200 silver. And then for the first one has gold. The second one also has gold. Okay, so the first one, 40. The second one, 60. So I'm just rolling on the chart here, guys. Okay, so now let's see. 5% gem for the first one. Nope. 5% gem for the second one. Nope. 2% jewelry for the first one. Nope. 2% jewelry for the second. I rolled a 2. So the second one has jewelry. And magic item is also 2 for both of them. Nope. No. Okay. Let me just check that, right? Yeah, so we got 2% of 1d6 jewelry. Of course, I threw my d6 across the room, guys. Okay. All right, how many jewelries are part of this guy? 5. Oh, my God. All right, 5 jewelers. Okay. In an attempt to save time, I'm just going to bring up my little... In an attempt to save time, I'm going to actually boot up my die roller. I have the... it's called the Crawler. I think I mentioned this before. Which is primarily for people... It's from Purple Sorcerer, which is, you know, used for Dungeon Crawl Classics a lot, but you can roll any dice you want here. Let's see. 1,000. Man. 1,100. 800. 600. And 1,200. Okay. That's a lot. All right. So you know, now we're going to do our specials. So let us see. Again, they need to roll that. I mean, you could get that on the first roll. Let's look at if any of these specials seem awesome enough to justify that much treasure. Let's see. Room turns or sinks when doors lock. While the doors lock. That's interesting. Shifting block. Trapdoor tunnels. Alarm summon special monster. That might be worth it, right? Okay, so the second one. Of course, we don't have a special monster here, so magical pools. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a small but very deep puddle with pool. I'll say pool, not puddle. Pool with a body in rusted plate armor resting at the bottom. Okay. Okay, so I think going back to my DMG here, I'm trying another PDF of this. I think he had an area in here with gases. Oh, got cut off there. I don't know where, so this might be a weird cut, guys. I've got my DMG, and I believe that there's a section in here with magic pools and gases and stuff. Magic pools. Here we go. Let's get a D20 roll. 12. 9 through 15 will turn on a one-time basis. Will on a one-time basis add or subtract from one of the character's characteristics who stand within it. Oh boy, okay. That's pretty cool. It's not as useful in OSR type games if you get a reduction or whatever to an ability score, but it's cool. So, there we go. Okay. Anyone? Oops. All right, so it's going to, obviously you couldn't see that because I read it out of a book. All right, so anyone who enters the pool or touches the water while in the pool. So in other words, they can't, if they scoop it out, it won't do it. Well, he probably pool, not pool. Pool. Touches the waiter. You never touch the waiter. Will will 1 to 3 gain, comma, 4 to 6 lose, 1, 2, 3 points of a random ability score. Right? This is a one-time thing for the first, well, per person. I can't say for the first person because that wouldn't make any sense. It's a one-time thing. Per PC. So, I mean, more people want to try it, they can. Body holds the following. There we go. Right. Nice. Okay, good. The other one doesn't have so much in the treasure. It's only 600 silver pieces and 40 gold pieces. So I think for this one, I'll just once again do... Oh, you know what? Maybe it's worthwhile to do here. We got shifting block closes off corridor. Body is crushed, laying in the middle of the space, comma, if PCs cross the area, comma, a wall will slide in place, separating them, or at least blocking their way back, period. Resets. Every full moon. I'll make it every day because, you know. Okay, strange to blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. I don't know why it's writing off the side. I guess because the... Okay. All right. Okay, so body is crushed laying in the middle of the space. If PCs cross the area, a wall will slide in place, separating them, or at least blocking their way back. Resets every full moon, and then there's some gold on the body. And I might end up making some of this stuff that's not just, I mean, I'm just writing 600 gold silver pieces now. We might tweak it out a little bit and make it like, you know, a sword with a jewel in the hilt. You know, we make it a little more interesting. Right now, we just want to get the basics down, right? Okay, so now I've got 6 traps that I got to do. So for this, once again, I'm just going to treat it like the, I'm going to treat it like they just never got set off before. You know, it's simple. Again, it's a fantasy space. So I'm just going to go back to my random generator, traps level 1, and let's generate some. So I need 6 of them. So let's say I have two 10-sided dice. So let me roll 2 at a time. 9 and a 2. Poison arrow trap and elevator room. Oh, I like that. Okay, elevator room descends 1 level. And this one's a poison arrow. D6. There's lots of different ways to treat this. I think I'm going to leave this for now. I'm not sure. Like, you know, sometimes you want to put mechanics into your thing. Actually, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this, I like to do it like this. Attacks as 2-hit die monster for D6 plus save versus poison. Or die, I guess, right? That's what it is. All right. So it still has to hit you, you know. All right, that's 2 of them. Let's do 2 more. I mean, again, I could do, oh yeah, you know, it's you know, it seems more reasonable to be like, oh, it does an extra D6 damage, but to a first level character, taking 2 D6 damage is basically dead. All right, so a 3 and a 4, another elevator room, and poison. I will say this: I'm not a big fan of the. You know, I'm just going to look. A flooding room is always fun. Flooding pit trap. That seems like a good one. Flooding rune trap, blinding gas trap. That seems like a good one. Again, I want these to feel more like Mythic Underworld. I don't want a whole bunch of... this is going to be save versus spells. Or be blinded till cure light wounds. I know there's a dispel blindness spell, I believe, right? So I'm just going to blinded for 2d6 turns. Yeah, I don't want to make it permanent because I just feel like that's just a hassle, especially for first level characters. Well, you know, I mean, I don't mind killing cards. That sounds terrible, but you know, I feel like that kind of stuff can just be a hassle. Let's see, sleeping gas is kind of cool, and of course, okay, this one I'm gonna do a little different. This is also with treasures. Sleeping gas trap. A medium is hiding and surprises the party with sleep, right? If they fall asleep, which they likely will, they will be looted. Keep in mind. Right. The medium is alone, so can only carry so much, right? We want to keep that in mind. He has on them. Well, they have on them, right? I don't want to assume that it's probably is a dude, jerk. They are carrying, and then we'll give him some treasure. Now, in this case, because I'm making it a monster, even though it's not technically a monster, but I'm making it a monster, I just want to quickly check to see what a medium is typically carrying. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I have the OSC book here, which is just... This PDF is great. What's a medium's treasure type? Treasure type V. Okay. Now, the thing is, I'm just going to look to see what treasure type V is, because if it's less, if it's less good, than what it should have been, then I'm not going to use that, because that doesn't seem fair. Because remember, we want to give them enough treasure to level up, because if we don't give them enough treasure in the first level to level up, they're going to definitely die on second level. So I know it sometimes seems like we're giving out a lot of treasure, but the reality is they're not going to find all of this. And, we want to make sure that they are able to get enough treasure. So treasure type V, 10%, 1 to 100 silver. Oh no, this is terrible. I mean, there's a higher chance of some stuff like this platinum and stuff, but I think, and again, I am not going to, I could roll both and then see if well, actually, I have the OSC generators here. Let me just do by type. I'll roll one with type V and see if it comes out better than, nothing, 62 silver pieces, nothing. Yeah, no. Oh, Staff of Healing, that would have been. All right, so I'm not going to do that. Let's go back to our numbers here for the dungeon. Stock the dungeon. Okay, back to this. So I'm going to give him the same empty room treasure as we normally would have. Let's go like this. Sorry guys, organizing my screens here. All right, going back to this medium. He's going to have treasure. Okay, 1d6 times 100 silver, 500 silver pieces. Let's see, 50% chance of having gold, 52, so no. 5% chance of gems, nope. 2% of jewelry, nope. Apparently he hasn't looted anybody yet. And then 2% for one magic item, nope. All right, so that's all he's got. He hasn't got much on him. And he's likely going to screw the party. You do not want to get a 23. That'd be terrible. All right, we need another trap with another good one with treasure. Let's go back here to Donjon again. Falling ceiling trap. Save or die. That could be interesting only in the sense that maybe the treasure is above it. Let me see how much treasure there is, because I don't want to risk a save or die if it's like 60 silver pieces. That seems like ridiculous. Although I already have my means of how I'm going to do this, so I think I might use it. Let's see, any gold? Nope. Any gems? Nope. Jewelry? Nope. Magic item? No. All right, it's not worth it for this. You know what, though? I like my idea, so I'm going to do it. All right. Ceiling falls in. A man was digging above. He is carrying I kind of want to give him something good. We haven't had any magic items yet. Because again, that's going to be tricky until they get to the monsters. So I think I might give him a magic item because this is going to be very deadly. He's carrying... I'm going to give him actually a magic item. Why not? Well, he's carrying, first of all, a d6 silver. 200 silver, so not a lot. And let's go. Let's see. Dungeon level, magic items, here we go. One magic item, here we go, random. Sword +1, +3 versus undead. I like it. Boom. Now, of course, it's BX, so there's a chance that it might be an intelligence sword. So let's take a quick look at that. Well, there's a 1 in 20 chance it has a special purpose. Let me roll that. Nope, it does not. And then to know if it's... Oh, the intelligence swords are in expert, so I'll just use this. I'm not super in love with the way that he does it here, although it does add up to be the exact same percentages, obviously. But basically what you do is you roll a d12, I believe. And if you get 1 through 6, yeah. Special purposes. Sword is a special purpose. Okay. The sword's intelligence is d6 plus 6. And if a magic sword possesses a sentence, see swords page 280, 268 for the likelihood. Some magic swords have innate intelligence and personality and other special powers. Probability. Randomly determine the magic sword is probably 30%, okay? It's not. Okay, so it's not intelligent. I am leaning towards having a world where all swords are intelligent, but again, this is more generic, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. All right, guys, now we're getting into the meat of this. Huh, I meant for this to be a shorter video. Okay, so let's look at monsters. Because of the nature of our location, I don't want to just use random monsters from the first level as like you would normally do, because again, I don't want to have those things. I already kind of made a list. I don't know what I do with them. Oh yeah, slimes, oozes, etc., snakes, worms, spiders, rats. So let's take a quick look. Again, I'm in OSE over here. This is the rules tome, the first rules tome. I know they just added a new one, but I haven't got mine yet. All right, monster descriptions, because that'll have the list, right? Okay, so Acolyte, Ape Man, Bandit, Basilisk, Bat, Bear. I mean, bats would be interesting, but bats in BX are not. They just fly around and bother you. So again, if I'm going to have this be a monster, I want to make it something interesting. Bear, beetle. Giant beetles might be interesting because they're an underground kind of thing. Commonly found underground. There we go. And there are 3 sometimes for oil beetle and striped beetles. This one doesn't say one way or the other. So fire beetles, and also they're the ones that glow, which are kind of fun. So I think that's a good fire beetle. What I want to do is I'm going to write their hit dice next to them, because that's going to be important. Because I want to kind of space it out so that like a black pudding would likely be down here, but a black pudding is, I mean, I guess I could just kind of do it on the fly. It's 10 hit dice. That seems absolutely insane. But you know what? Let me see if I find something else first. Oh, a Carcass Crawler, which of course is a carrion crawler, is also very, very deadly. And again, there's not a lot of bodies here, so that doesn't make sense. Boar, brigand. Oh, I guess his bodies of adventurers. Cave locust, centaur, centipede. There we go. Giant centipedes are good for a first level party. They're half a hit die. Right? And these guys are only a half. I'm only doing that if I want to move things around. Cockatrice, cockatrices are interesting. They're pretty tough and they turn you to stone, which sucks. But I always feel like they should be in the weirdest spots. I'm not going to use them, but I just think they're kind of cool. Giant crocodile, that doesn't make sense. A cyclops, a dervish. No, definitely not. A djinn, doppelganger. Of course, I'm also looking at both expert and basic when I'm looking at it this way, so I have to be somewhat. Gelatinous cube. Again, gelatinous cubes are high hit dice at 4 hit dice, but they're also the kind of thing that might roam around in this place. So I think I'm going to come over here. No, they have great treasure. Oh, no, they only have treasure type V. Really? That sucks. I always thought that they should have a lot of treasure because they're carrying a lot of treasure. So I'll put them in one of the non-treasure ones. Now you might be like, well, why don't you just make a list and you can roll randomly? But why make an extra roll, right? I can just make this as an encounter. So this is 4 hit dice. All right. Ghoul. Ghouls are interesting, especially since we already determined that somewhere in here there might be an opening to a plane of ghouls. So I'll throw that down at the bottom. Gnome, Goblin, Golem, Gorgon. Grey Ooze is probably one that I'm going to want to use. They're pretty high hit die as well with 3, but that's not ridiculous. They have no treasure, so let me just put them here. They're 3 hit die. I think see, I'm spacing it out. A green slime is a low hit die monster, also with no treasure, and is great for a random monster. We know what they are. They're terrible. They're 2-hit die. Okay. Griffin, Halfling, Harpy, Hawk, Hellhound, Herd Animal, Hippogriff, Hobgoblin, Horse, Hydra, Insect Swarm. I kind of want to use Insect Swarms, and I don't think that they're that high of a hit die, 2 to 4, but they're really like crazy. So I think I'm going to put them right here. Insect Swarm. Spiders, right? Because we know there's going to be a spider connection here. Let's see what else we got. Invisible Stalker, Killer Bees. That doesn't seem likely underground. Giant Leeches. Swamps. So that's unlikely too. Living Statue is a good one too. They're tough and they can go anywhere. I think they also are going to show up as no treasure though, right? Because they're, yeah. So we're going to have to roll something different for the treasure if we use them. Because everything else I have now is treasure. So I do like a Living Statue though, so I'm going to actually do that. Living Statue. Let's see, Living Statue there, 3-hit dice. The crystal ones are anyways. I mean, the rock ones, and I'm going to do a rock one. Because it's high on the list. And that's 5-hit die. Let's see, Giant Lizard, Lizard Man, Lycanthrope would be an interesting thing to be down here wandering around, right? Manicore, Macedon, Medium, we already had that, Medusa. Merman, Minotaur, Mummy. Any undead are going to work, right? Noble, Nomad, Normal Human, Ochre Jelly is another ooze. 5-hit die. So, again, no treasure. I'm just going to have to give them some. They'll just be in a space where there's treasure, I guess. Let's see. Ogre, Orc, Owlbear. Pegasus, Pirate, Pixie. You know, anything fake could also be here. Rats. Here's Purple Worm. That's way too big, though. Rhinoceros, Robber Fly, Rock Baboon, Rust Monster. Ooh, a Rust Monster is also another creature that would be useful. People hate Rust Monsters, man. They're 5-hit die as well. Also, no treasure. They're another crappy no treasure monster. Actually, I'm going to put them down here. I'm going to go Rust Monster. So we're going to be rolling a lot of random no treasures. Salamander, Scorpion, Giant, Shadow. That's another one. I bet you there's no treasure for them as well. No, F. Treasure of F. Oh, shadows are good. Shadow. I might readjust these guys depending on various things. Obviously, you need a magic weapon hit a shadow, so that's going to be tough, even though it's only 2-hit dice. Oh, Shriekers are useful as well. But if I do a Shrieker, then I need to do it so that they bring something. Oh, here's Skeletons. Let's do Skeleton. Like I said, I'm going to have to arrange these again. Because Skeletons are only 1-hit die. They're going to be, should be lower on the list. And they also have treasure type nothing. Snakes. I'm not going to use giant spiders, only because there's going to be a whole section of those, so I don't want to go too crazy with that. All the snakes have no treasure. I'm looking for something that just has treasure by itself. That might be good. Warp Beast, Water Termite, Weasel, Giant, Whale, Wolf. Yeah, most of this stuff is just, Ooh, Yellow Mold is, oh, it's so bad. See, I feel like Yellow Mold is so much more of a trap than it is a, which is how much treasure does it usually have? None, of course. You know what? Yellow Mold. All right, and that's everything. I'm going to do a quick rearrange here. So I've got Fire Beetle, Giant Centipedes. I'm going to move my Skeletons down to here. And move my Green Slime to here. Move my Rust Monster. Actually, move my Shadow. Because as much as I like Shadows, the fact that they can only be hit by magic weapons probably should make them less common. So your Fire Beetle, so your Skeleton. No, this is good actually. I'm going to move the, okay, so this is what we got here. I'm moving the Giant Centipede to the first because that's, I like Giant Centipedes and they're only 1/2 hit die. Skeleton, then Fire Beetle. So I'm going in order of power, right? Then, oh, I have an empty space. No, Green Slime. I'm going to put a rust monster there, even though they are a lot of hit die. I mean, they ruin your crap, but they're not that deadly. Green slime. Then I'm going to go with, I'm going to move this ochre jelly. And I'm going to put my insect swarm there. Do like a nice gelatinous cube, but I think we'll go with this. Again, I'm kind of putting them in order by their hit die, but not really. Because again, Shadow I'm putting near the end, and Yellow Mold is actually only 2 hit die, but it's crazy deadly. So, again. And also because, again, guys, they're not going to be encountering that many monsters here. So, you know, the Yellow Mold is probably the least interesting in a fight, so I'll put that at the end. Now, let's look at their treasure. This is what I'm going to change slightly. Most of the creatures, in fact, almost every creature that I chose, in fact, I think every creature that I chose has nil for treasure, except for Shadows, which have F. So let me go here, and let's just do the Shadows treasure. And by the way, because I already rolled with treasure, if I roll and it's 0, then I'm gonna just make something up or roll it again, I guess. Yeah, 6,000 silver pieces for the Shadow. Okay, good. Okay, it's a lot of silver. And again, I might change that. I've talked about that before in adventure design. Like, that's a lot of treasure to carry, and I get that's part of the game on some level, but that just seems like a lot, especially if it's that deep into the dungeon. All right, but what I am going to do is this. I'm going to leave this open, this treasure by type, and then I'm going to come back to my BX book, not the OSC book, but BX book, because in the treasure types here, if I can find them, they have the average amount of loot. I don't know where that is. I guess it's with treasure probably. Because that is going to, I'm going to decide. I'm just going to make it, here it is. Oh, that got really too big. I'm just going to make a call, you know, based on the toughness of the monster of approximately how much treasure I think they should have, since they're all stuff that has no treasure. And then I'm going to use the treasure type generator to put it in there. So let's look at our monsters. Skeletons are pretty weak. So I'm looking at these, but again, I need to give a lot of treasure to make this worthwhile. So I'm going to go with F, because F is a 5,000, which seems, that's probably too high. I'm going to go with E. Let's roll E. 2,000 gold pieces. Okay, that's very good. That's a lot of treasure for skeletons. But again, if they're rolling a 26, they've been in the dungeon for a while exploring, so that's part of what I'm doing here. The rust monster, you know, I'm going to do the same thing. I think E feels like a good place to be. Let's do E again. And again, if I roll the same, 0 rather, like nothing, I will roll it again. There we go. Oh, wow, that's nice. It's only worth 100 gold pieces, but there's a lot of stuff here. Some good magic weapons. Which kind of makes sense for a rust monster if you think about it, because they can't rust magic weapons, right? So, you know, if they encounter this rust monster, that's going to be a pretty darn good haul. Be funny if the squirrel was protection from rust monsters. All right, so there you go. That's a pretty good haul. And then Ogre Jelly, which is now we're getting up there to 5-hit die creature that's really hard to kill. So now I'm going to jump up the treasure type to, I think, F. Oh, wow. Okay. You know, maybe I should go back. I want to make sure F isn't some kind of weird treasure type that's all magic items. Although it has a value, so it can't be, right? It does have a higher chance of magic items. It's actually the one with the highest chance. So I don't think I'm going to do that, actually. I mean, I'll for other ones, I already rolled it, so I'm going to keep it, because once... And again, it's not like these characters are going to find every single thing. In order to get to this Ochre Jelly, they will, again, have been traveling enough to roll a 32, which is 12 checks into the adventure. So they've been in there for a while in a single session. So if they're in there that long in a single session, guys, that's probably because they're not getting enough. I'm not going to straighten this up now. You watch that. Living Statue of Rock, again, pretty tough. I'm not going to do F again, though, because F has way too many magic items. I don't want to, again, you want to think about your campaign. I don't want to flood the world with magic items. So that's 5,000. Let me look at I. I has, okay, good. I has only a 15% chance of that. It's mostly gems and jewelry. That's cool for a living statue. I like that. There you go. So if they beat that living statue, you know, and again, I can have the gems and jewelry be somehow part of the statue. That's probably how I'll do it. That'll make sense. I already did 6,000 there, and we get yellow mold, which again, I know is super deadly, and it feels like it needs to be sitting on top of something interesting. So I think I'm going to actually, you know, because that's just the kind of guy I am, I'm going to give him two treasure types. I'm going to give him N and O, because if you look at these two treasure types, they are potions and scrolls. So I'm going to give N and O. So it's going to, potions and scrolls, they're going to be covered with the mold, right? Boom. Oh my God. Okay. So if they want to go in there and risk their lives against this yellow mold, they're going to be rewarded with a bunch of potions and scrolls. Which kind of makes sense, you know? Well, except for that one's cursed, but that'll suck. Well, that's okay. They don't know that. Okay. All right, let's take a quick look at this because, again, once again, we're getting a very, very long video, almost an hour long. But let's just look at our basic concept here. Okay, we've got the general, and I might quick, so this might actually be a little bit long because I think I'm going to, the 5 rooms that I've done, I'm going to quickly fill them in as well. Generally what's going to happen is as the people are going through this dungeon, since it's mostly traps and stuff, and you know, I don't want to make like a trap in this room, a trap in that room. I want to have something lively going on, and I want the dungeon to react to the players. They're going to roll a d20. I wrote plus 1/2 turns exploring because usually you roll every other turn. So when the first time you roll, it's going to be a d20 plus. Well, actually, then they can't ever be a 1. I'll forget it anyways. A d20. And then if they roll, you know, basically 1 through 12, they will not encounter anything that'll fight them. If they roll anything higher than that, they're going to get into weird traps or monsters or whatever. And this is going to liven up the dungeon to make it unique each time. Every time they hit something except for an empty, I will reset it. So basically what that means is, well, it'll reset to what it is. Every time they clear something, I'll say. So like if they get number 6, which is, you can't see, of course, if they get number 6, which is the empty room, which is corpses of 5 adventurers, the next time they go back there, because they will have looted that, then they will, I'll have put something else there. You know, if they fight the rust monster, it won't be there the next time, right? Each time it's going to move around. But things like the moaning room will stay forever, right? The flames turning green, that stuff will stay, right? That's just part of the dungeon, and we'll make notes of that as we go. The dungeon is a living, breathing thing. Now, one more thing I want to do while we're here. If we're looking at our first area, if you remember, and I might add more trash. Oh, yeah, appropriate treasure for the pendulum trap. Again, I'm going to fill in more of these rooms. But what I wanted to do just while I'm here, because I thought it was pretty cool, I noticed it, is where the damp area is with the vines, the plants. I noticed that OSE actually has an NPC adventuring party generator. So the treasure there is going to be an adventuring party that got caught in the plants. So I'm going to roll an adventuring party, and that's what's going to be there, right? That's going to be what's in that spot with the plants. And then every time they go to it, unless they destroy the plants, you know, within reason, there'll be a new party there that they can loot, I guess. All right, so, or I'll make it a chance, maybe. Okay, so here we go. Basic adventurers. Okay, there we go. That's who's there. There's not a whole lot of gold. That's a pretty tough, but there's stuff like leather armor, there's chainmail armor, there's plate mail armor. So, you know, there's a, well, they're all fighters. You know, so, and then next time they go there, you know, I'd roll it again, like boom. And then here we go. Now we've got, these guys had almost nothing on them. Yeah, these guys had nothing on them. So I want to make it, again, like the other one, I want to make it reasonable. This is going to be a pretty tough fight, so I think I want them to get at least a couple thousand gold. So let me just hit this a couple times till I find something that's reasonable. Nope. Oh man, it's so funny. I did this earlier, and like every party had tons of stuff. Now we're getting the cheap ones. Oh, here we go. There's a ring of wishes. No, screw it. Copy to clipboard. This is the party. Put them down here. Okay. Remains of party in room 6, I think it was. No, not 6. 8. You know, if they want that ring off that adventurer's finger, then they're going to have to get in there, wade in there, and they're not going to know it's there, right? I mean, I'm like, oh my god, Ring of Wishes, but they don't know it's there. All they see is some adventurers dead, in this area. Yeah, there we go. That's that. Whew. There's always that moment when you put a Ring of Wishes into your campaign where you're like, oh, but whatever. And again, when I'm going to put this together in a way that you guys can run it or whatever. Anything that's put into a module, you have to feel free to just remove if it's not going to work for you. So keep that in mind. I mean, I put a Ring of Wishes in there, just roll something different. Or what I might do, anyways, if I was rolling this on the fly, if I was playing this on the fly, I might just roll an adventure party then, Oh, actually, that's probably something they should have run into. You know what? I'm going to come back in here and remove one of these monsters and make it an adventuring party. Let's see. God, I like all my monsters, though. Man, I'm tempted to have it be the gelatinous cube. Get rid of that, but I think, we'll leave it. Once they've encountered a few of these things, they're already going to encounter a couple of dead adventuring parties as it is. Anyways, if you've made it this far, go ahead, subscribe, and let me say it like 3 times. If you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications and whatnot. And I'll see you next time.